3, 2, 1.
When I pointed.
Fruit Suit Riot.
Okay, but you did say Zoot Suit.
Fruit Suit Riot.
Riot!
Throw back a bottle of beer. Pow. Remember when everybody got into swing for 10 minutes in the 90s?
I really liked it.
Everybody's like, we're all swing dancing. And then in like a week, they were like, what
It's like...
that guy doing what was that dance the guy did from the Mighty Mighty Boss Sounds called?
The Charleston?
Ska?
Oh, but ska is not the same as swing.
No, but they were all wearing suits. It was all part of that era. You don't think that band is similar to
swing? No.
Yeah, it is. Well, let me
You're
tell you
talking
something.
about ska, which is
I was in studio band.
Ska's a lot of like
I was
it's
in
like
studio
a lot of this,
band.
You know, like they gotta go up and down, up and down.
He did a dance called the. Do you know what the dance is called, Mike?
It's called the.
Anyway, don't answer that.
There's the Lady Hop, the Charleston, the East Coast Swing,
these
the
are
Balboa. These are all
swings.
things I'm coming off the top of my head.
No. There was a
swing,
ska
the
dance.
Jitterbug. Oh,
These are swing dances.
The guy in Mighty Mighty Boss Sounds, there was one guy, a la in the St. Lunatics, who didn't play an instrument, didn't sing. He just wore
a
a
hype
suit
man.
and went.
Yeah.
But there's a name for that dance. We'll figure it out in the comments, which are blowing up right now. Happy birthday to you, you old lady.
Why are you like this?
Happy birthday. Yesterday was your birthday. You
What
wore
if
the
we
fruit
turn this
suit.
pod into just like a psychological examination of you?
Well, I was the one who watched Couples Therapy on Showtime, and it was fantastic. And I was like, do this again, but just with people, not with couples. Maybe there'd be no show.
You almost said do this again, but with normal people. But that was the purpose of the show.
Real quick, there was a couple on that was like, you're like, oh, they seem like someone normal. Then the man's like, well, I cheated emotionally. And then she's like, and then I cheated with a woman and then another woman and someone from my yoga studio. And he was like, I was pretty pissed. And I was like, oh my God. It was like, she hit him with the like right, left, right.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Like, on what planet would you ever, knowing that you've cheated, why would you ever go on this show?
I wonder why anybody would go on the show.
Period.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's
so
way more
invasive.
personal than any.
I don't know. Like to me that feels like
If you cheated and are staying
crazy.
together,
Yeah.
first of all, these are like Brooklyn wackos who are like, she's probably like, it's better if everybody knows. Like
I've
she's
never
so
seen that
obsessed with
show.
herself.
Yeah.
I know, but I was trying to explain why this particular person.
right.
It seems like she just makes a bunch of horrific decisions and blames her husband. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is your birthday. The point is the birthday card. I sent you the text.
Oh yeah.
As you know, audience, we are a huge fan of horrible wine humor. And my favorite joke, one of my favorite jokes is Tommy McNamara's joke where he's talking about how like there's all these horrible wine signs and shirts and mugs. And he saw this one that was like, yoga class? I thought you said pour a glass. And he's like, that doesn't even rhyme or sound alike. And then he has all these other examples. He's like, oh, did you say open the door? I thought you said Cabernet Blanc.
Well, also there's a whole category of these just because we're coming back from a beach vacation.
Oh, yeah.
That are like beach house specific or like, vacation house specific.
Life's a beach.
And it's like shoes optional. Like it's like all that. It's like
and naming houses.
no, but like, but that's
I
even
think it's a rule.
Yeah, you have to name
They
your
all
house.
do it.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
have
think
to
it's
name a
like
house?
a law.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
It must be because we were just in the
No.
Outer Banks and everything's named. It's like it's got to be. a law.
No, it's not. It's
It's not a law, but
conformity.
it's like if-
conformity.
It's also like
It's like naming a boat.
But it's like, why are you being such a dick? Like, just name your house if you're the only house. Also, it's probably bad luck, right? Because if you don't name your boat, it's bad luck.
Yeah, but I think that they were like, I want to have a boat too. I'm in a beach house. I think it just started.
They probably
that way.
also have boats. What are you going to get a beach house without a boat? Are you
I
some
hope
sort
so.
of poor person?
Don't buy a boat. Do not buy a boat. Now,
Okay.
I bought you a genius card, really.
Is it a genius card?
Also, I think that cards are funny in general because you're like, look at this. It's almost like I wrote this. Here, you take it. like you didn't come up with the idea. You're like, isn't this so us?
Well, first of all, cards used to be so much better. They used to get like really random niche things on there, and you could legitimately go to CVS and buy 3 semi-unhinged cards for someone.
Yeah.
And they were like fun and funny.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people are trying to be like too, like, it's like too cute. It's like, I know you're gonna drink wine, and you're like, it's like, ugh, like then just hand me a Post-it. Like I know you're a drunk. Like okay,
I don't want to insult you, but
you always do. That's what the pond is for.
I saw this video that was like admitting you have no hobbies, because I think it's like, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the idea that wine is somehow a personality.
Well,
it's nothing. It's I like food.
I got into this discussion with the guy working at Paper Source because I went in to get you a Father's Day card, and I did find you the best Father's Day card, like specific to you.
Thank you.
But he and I were both laughing because I was like, every time I tried to find a Father's Day card for my dad, it was like all these like stupid like dad specific hobbies, but my dad didn't do any of that.
Yep,
they were like,
same.
oh, like enjoy your beer, enjoy some golf, like cut a steak.
No, you know, like, I got you a drill that can open a beer.
Oh my God.
And hit a golf ball. And then he's like, what? I don't do any of that.
My dad was like, I don't care. Also, like, I finally found one for him that was like, enjoy your like nap on the couch, and it was literally like, is your dad depressed? Give him this card. You know, like what a bummer of a card. You're the best dad. Here, take a nap on the floor. Like,
want to get bummed out? How about a Father's Day card that you got to stick in the mail? Anyway, don't get into that stuff. But
I would mail my dad cards. That's not. You're not making the point when
you were little, you lived with your dad. Is my point.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Now
but
read my wine jokes.
Okay. Anyway, you got me some really good birthday cards. I can tell. I also really like when you buy me cards because you come back. First of all, you always forget. And then like either the morning of or the night before, you try to sneak into the apartment like so stealth. You're just like, you have this little like paper bag from Paper Source, and you're like, and it's like that noise like.
You know where I hid it?
In your sock drawer, I'm sure.
No, in my medicine cabinet. I thought it was very sneaky.
Very sneaky.
I crinkled it up behind a bunch of...
I could hear you crinkling in there, though. I was like, what's happening?
Well, you had no idea what was about to hit you. Anyway, read my. I wrote you some wine jokes on the inside of the card.
Yes,
These are Noah Savage originals.
Okay,
Corks are for quitters.
Yeah. Wait, that's way better than anything I wrote.
Yeah,
Mike's going to come with 10 that are way better.
That's already better. First of all, one of them is just Tommy's.
Well, I quoted it, though. I did give credit. I wrote Tommy's in the inside of the card at the top.
You gave him credit. The first one is, go to the bank. I thought you said Sauvignon Blanc.
Wait, but read it the proper way.
Go to the bank.
Yes.
I thought you said Sauvignon Blanc.
There you go.
That's solid. Is that Tommy's?
No, that's mine.
That's great.
It's basically a rip-off of his, but
yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Or go to the bank. I thought you said Sauvignon Bank. Okay.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Blank.
Yeah.
I wanted to commit an egregious crime. I thought you said Pinot Grigio time. That one's my favorite because it's really, you really go on a journey with this drunk psychopath. Like,
wait, no. You almost got it because you can't read my handwriting, so I don't fault you. Hold on, let me pull up my.
I'm gonna leave a picture of this card in the show notes because I feel that no one could possibly decipher.
I've committed an egregious crime. I thought you said Pinot Grigio time because you're being accused of a crime.
Lower your mic a little bit. Can I tell you something?
Sorry.
If you wanted to read these jokes, why did you insist on me reading them?
I want you to read them, but you didn't get that one right because
okay, but guess
this is a drunk lady that's getting arrested, and she's like, "What? Pinot Grigio time?" That's how I pictured it.
Is that an impression of me?
What did you say?
I like the idea if it's the opposite, like Pinot Grigio time. I thought you said commit egregious crime. She's getting hauled away.
Yeah,
for stealing a baby.
Like,
right.
You're standing there with like ropes and like a saw, and you're like, "Oh man, we're just having wine."
Yeah. She's like, never mind.
Okay. Next one is. Okay, there's a lot of bank jokes in this. Your funds are low? I thought you said Merlot.
That's a good one too.
Is it?
Put it on a sign and sell it in Nantucket.
Okay. And the last one is Somalia.
Already great. That should be the whole card.
I thought you said sommelier. which is also spelled completely incorrectly.
Nobody can spell that word.
Sommelier?
Nobody.
Yes, I could.
Also, a classic move when we were just back from vacation, audience. I did my classic move, not ordering a beer from the busboy, but constantly waving over the sommelier as if he was the manager and asking for managerial things.
You kept first of all, he's like,
okay, and then Alyssa got after the fourth time.
it was like too many times. Also, like, the guy's face like gave it away.
Not to me.
And it was like a nice enough restaurant where he wasn't going to be like, sir, you're a complete moron.
Sir, I am not who you think I am.
He was like, sir, I'm a guest at this hotel.
Yeah. Really.
It was like basically like he was like, this is so beneath me.
Well, you know what? A lot of times you go to a place, and I literally have said this probably twice in the last 2 weeks, and you go, who works here? Because there's no uniforms, there's nothing, and there's just people kind of standing around.
Well, also, I feel like
Right?
we've talked about this before, but like post-COVID, a lot of these places legitimately are understaffed. So it's like
Right.
there's like actually where it used to be like, 5 waiters for whatever many tables. Now there's only 2 or 3. And so then like there is actually like a shortage. So it's not like totally in your head. But this guy, I do kind of blame him, even though you were being a dingus, because at any point he could have just spoken to the waiter and been like, this guy like needs special help. Like, you need to stand by his table and help him. Like, he should have flagged.
Well, he was doing body language like, if you need anything, but he was saying like, if you need any wine
He
things.
goes, if you need a $400 bottle of wine, I'm your man. Not like,
I love that that's a job, by the way. I guess like you need it
it's a
because
great job.
it's a big investment. Why don't you become a sommelier and live your dreams?
Because I like drinking too much. So
You'd be
every
like,
time
"A little for me."
they'd be like, you have to spit it out. I'd be like, what? I'm like, these are all delicious.
Yeah, I used to work in a liquor store, and the wine salesman would come in and they'd do the little tasting.
Yeah.
And I was stunned that our owner would actually spit it out. I'm like, I'll just take a little sip there in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I honestly think it's a fascinating job. And I think like, it's a really cool, like it's becoming like a professional chef. Like, you have to like really be trained on like flavor profiles and like histories of certain things. It's like a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then like people want like if you are advising someone on what bottle of wine to drink for dinner, and you're talking about, let's say, 4 people you've never met, and they're like, we usually like something oaky. And you're like, okay. And then you recommend something and they're like, we hate it. And it's like,
yeah,
so-
it's like the higher up you go, you're going to make more money. You deal with bigger assholes all the time.
right. And so then even if your recommendation is actually 110% accurate, exactly what they asked for, you could open the bottle for them and they could go, send it back. And like, that's $600.
Have you ever sent back a bottle?
I did one time but it was really
Exhilarating.
It was like vinegar. It was like,
Well, that's the only reason you're allowed to.
yeah.
They only
Yeah, it
take
was
it back
spoiled.
if it's bad.
Yeah.
But that's, it was
Not because
bad.
you don't like the taste, yeah.
Well,
Unless you're like,
Yeah.
Epstein.
right.
What?
What?
Like that level.
like you
you're
know,
just
Mike.
crazy rich.
Unless you're just like a billionaire pedophile.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you sex trafficking? We will take it back. My apologies.
We do have a 2014, sorry.
Yuck. Yuck. But yeah, no, I feel like it's like, I do put a little bit of the blame on that guy, because he could have just been like, you know what's always funny too at those restaurants where they're like slightly understaffed? There's always like 2 dingbats at the host stand, and I'm like, you don't need 2 up here.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Send one of those girls to get trained as a waiter. Like, this is ridiculous.
Send one of those girls to Epstein immediately.
I'm done with that line of jokes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for setting a limit there.
I can't.
We have a second topic here. Classic. Oh, yeah. So as we sit here in our fruit suits, which, by the way, was a big hit.
Speaking of teenage girls,
Yeah. You were a hit with teenagers and young women, and I imagine men, although they didn't typically talk to you with me around, but like some girl at the brewery last week, you're wearing this, comes out from shucking oysters.
yeah,
And it's
she left her job.
she goes, I'm quitting my job after seeing that fruit suit.
She was adorable, and she really did leave her place of work to come give me a compliment. And I mean, huge shout out to her, because that was really nice. And she risked it all to tell me I looked good, and I felt it in my
And this
bones.
kept happening all day long, which
Yeah.
is, of
but
course,
I'm used to it because I'm so famous.
it is a credit to you and how you look and
Thank
how
you.
you looked last week. You've aged a lot. You've aged a lot.
How about when we went to the brewery and you go,
a lot of tomatoes.
you go,
I saw that suit. I said, that's a lot of tomatoes.
you go to the brewery with me and you go, I guess I don't even have to get carded. I'm so old.
Oh,
and the
yeah,
guy
this was
goes,
brutal.
he goes, that'll be $10. And you're like, why? And he's like, you can't make a stupid ID joke. It says it on the board.
Yeah, there was a sign when you check in, and it was like, any dumb ID jokes, tip us $5. And I go, what? I'm not old enough yet. And they're like, and I was like, damn it.
That was like one of the most like, not only was it painful because you made such a stupid joke, but then they literally like, we have a sign in front of your face that was like, don't do that.
They were like, ooh, cringe, dad. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, but they were.
I'm so old. I know.
They were like 22 and it made me feel old.
Yeah, can't talk to those aliens.
No.
Say that much.
No.
But you were being iconic out there on vacation, wearing the fruit suit.
Wearing the fruit suit.
We're shirt brothers. And now in our building, I have an annoying brother, which is Achilles' brother.
Achilles' brother tore his Achilles. I made quick friends with his now ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. But now I'm seeing him. He's out of the boot. Now he's walking. And now every time I see him, I have to make like a dumb
Achilles comment.
I go, hey, get in there, man. He's like, ah. And I'm like, I don't want to continue this.
I'm like, I know the truth about you and why your girlfriend said goodbye. So
Did they really break up? I haven't seen her.
She was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, he was PISSED'd that
He was? What are you talking
He was
about?
pissed he was injured, I guess, and was being a jerk. And she was like, I've
He was
had
being
enough.
such a jerk. And she was like, I actually don't have to deal with this. Like, goodbye.
Yeah, sometimes when you're dating, all it takes is a severe injury to realize I don't want to be with this person.
I actually think it's a nice pressure test because she was like, oh, I see how you react when there's like even a moment of conflict. And she was like, I choose to not deal with this anymore in my life.
Yeah.
And I support her and I do have her number, but I haven't reached out.
You have a habit, which is, I think, a wonderful habit. And you make friends.
So many of my habits are good.
You have a lot
Wouldn't
of good
you say?
Yep.
Would you say more of your habits are good or bad?
My habits?
Yeah.
Equal.
Throat clearing.
50-50. That's not a habit. That's a condition I have because I had big time sinus surgery.
Nose job.
The other option is sick all the time. So while annoying it may be,
I am sick all the time.
I was thinking I should get a sleep apnea mask.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
no.
why?
Then go on Zipbound or whatever.
I don't have sleep apnea. I just think if you pumped oxygen through your head all night, you'd feel amazing in the morning. Don't you think that? Anyway, we had a lot of fun on vacation, and one of the things I enjoyed was on the last night, we went to the old pavilion there in Nantucket. And Gazebo, and you were being iconic, and we were having fun, and we were talking up some bridezillas over there, some bachelorette party. But we just had one girl on the end. There was like a line of 12 of them, and one girl was like almost at our table because she was like all the way to the end.
Right.
And then she started talking, and I really loved her accent. She was like, "Shots, we got to do shots. We're up there, and you know, she's getting married. This knucklehead is getting married over here. We got to do more shots."
Yeah, and then I bonded with the guy next to me because we were just talking about how like some of these like quote unquote grown women who are getting married are literally like a quarter of my size.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was that size maybe in 4th grade. They're so small. Like I was like, I couldn't possibly spend time with you all. I'm like a monster. Right. Like how am I supposed to like
It would feel weird for me, for sure.
But I'm like, but it would feel weird for me. Like I'm like, they're like, you should
Yeah. I never made it like far with any of these 5'5" or below women because I would be at the bar. Like, what? And then I'd be like, I'm not doing that.
Not even just height though. I'm just saying like, generally
they look
speaking,
like one of our tripods here.
Yeah, they look like a tripod, and I'm like,
They have cameras for heads, for Christ's sake.
I don't understand. Like, how could I
tried
even
something.
like, you know when you like go to a store and you like pick up a shirt in a size that's maybe like one size lower than what you think you would be, and you're like, not only would this not fit, but like this wouldn't even fit the goal weight that I picture myself at after I like, stop eating for 3 months. Like it's so far away, and I'm like, I see these women, and I'm like, it's not, I don't know. I was like then literally this man was like talking to me, Jamie, shout out to Jamie. And I was like, I don't I was like, is this in my head? I'm like, am I enormous? Like, this is crazy.
No, they were really small, and it happens to me every time that someone's like, "Oh, I got you a T-shirt," and I go, "Is it XXL?" And I go, "It's XL." They run big. They run big. Give it a try.
Can I tell you something?
And then I put it on. It's like,
nothing angers me more than someone handing me something and go, it runs big. Okay, well, guess what? I couldn't fit it over my huge head.
Guess what?
So
I run 2XL.
I mean, one time I went shopping for a bridesmaid's dress, and this was truly like traumatizing. You guys will appreciate it because I'm sure you have to shop for bridesmaids dresses all the time.
We're women.
And the woman was like, we have sample sizes for you to try on, and then you would order the dress, right? So you're just trying on the dress to see what size you would be, and then they would purchase one for you. They were like, the only sample sizes we have in stock are sizes 0, 2, and 4, or
36.
24.
Oh, really?
24.
Whoa.
So I was like, well, your girl's not a size 4. So bring out the 24, which is now actually insulting to anyone who even wears a size 24, because it's like you're putting on a dress that also isn't your size, and like that's obnoxious. But I'm like, if I put on a size 4, it would just rip.
Right.
I'm like, this is the stupidest. I was like, you're basically making everyone on the size spectrum feel bad.
Yeah.
I was like, what sort of torture chamber did you guys create here?
This is another difference between men and women. I'm going to drop some knowledge here. When I go into a restaurant, like we went into that other restaurant in Nantucket, the whole episode's about restaurants in Nantucket. We very relatable and very down to earth.
We are down to earth.
And they were like, "Here's your little booth," and I go, "I can't even attempt to sit in that. I'm far too big."
Well, that actually did make me laugh because we get into the restaurant, which is like basically in an old Nantucket home, like in town.
Yep.
So me and you are already like bumping into stuff.
Yeah,
we're like breaking family heirlooms. We're like, oh no.
The doorways are at my forehead. I'm like, ow.
It's like, a ye old colonial home. Noah's like, his foot goes through the stair. We're like, okay.
If I was back then, they'd be like, "'Tis a giant."
They're like, the white whale.
Like, ah.
So we walk in, we're already just like monsters. And then she points us to this like very beautiful little corner table. Like it was like lovely.
It was a booth though.
A booth. Yeah. And me and you just stand there like in silence, and we're like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like you would have to like fold your body in thirds to get into that booth. Like a chair in that restaurant would have already been small for you.
As a man, that's not humiliating to me. Well, it's not because I'm fat, it's because I'm tall, number one. But and I'm not calling you. That sounded bad. That came out bad. It's not. No, that came out bad. That came out bad.
No.
That came out wrong.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our podcast.
That is the end of our marriage.
It's not because you're fat.
No, even if I was bigger this way, it's like not. It's kind of like a badge of honor. Like, oh, I'm a big dude. It's like a good thing. Whereas to your point, it's like we go up to size 4, and you're like, what planet are you from? 4 is really small. It's very small. As I know women's sizes.
Yeah, it's very small.
You don't get to be like, what's up?
Also,
I do get to do that with a table.
Well, but it also always makes me think about like, obviously Nantucket is like not set up for anyone, whether you're like old or disabled or like too big or like, I mean, like all these issues. But I'm like, even in New York, there's like a lot of restaurants like this. And I'm like, if you ever rolled up here, like, and you were using a wheelchair, like you would be like, are you guys kidding me? Like you didn't even, not only did you not include me, but you actually made it impossible for me to even
we've also
enjoy this.
We've been on dates where they cram these tables in the trendy restaurants so close that I'm like, I guess we're on a date with these guys too. We're in it with them. I'm an inch away. Like sometimes it's like this dude's head is an inch away from mine. I'm gonna kiss him.
I don't mind that if like the person next to us is fun, but like when we went to that cocktail bar in our neighborhood, and we were next to those like 21-year-olds who were like really creeping me out. And they were like, she was like cutting little like tiny pieces of paper. And like, he was just like caressing her head. And I was like, get me out of here. Like,
they were also two very tiny
so
people.
So small, but I was
creeps.
Like, why is she cutting this paper so small? Also, like, we were sitting, I mean, she was like in my lap. Like, I was like, you have to acknowledge how close we are. It's really weird. Like, we're too close. I don't sit this close next to someone on the subway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that restaurant, I mean, they did seat us outside, and I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Ultimately fine.
I had a great time. But here's my beef with the Nantucket, okay?
The whole island?
Bring it up to you. Yeah, first of all, I got a problem with the whole island.
All those houses have names, and you don't like that.
No, but when we used to go there, we would see one seal.
Oh, yeah.
The whole week, and it'd be a big...
A loose seal.
Seal. It'd be incredible, right? We go to the beach for 30 minutes, and I see 6 or 7 seals.
Right.
So what comes with seals?
Sharks.
My only fear in life, literally my only fear, is great white sharks. And they're going, all right, well, there's giant sharks in the water. What are you going to do? And there are people who say, go kill some seals so that we get rid of some of these sharks. And I'm one of them. It doesn't actually make sense. In other words, do you know what I'm saying? Let's go on vacation somewhere. Mm-hmm. Well, is the water warm?
No.
No. Is it particularly safe?
No.
Well, up to 4 feet deep. You don't want to go too far out. There are giant 28-foot great white sharks. Okay. Well, can a little kid swim there? No. It's a horrible riptide. That's my point.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
If I'm on vacation and I get killed by a shark,
it is pretty badass.
Can I tell you something? That's just it. That's just it. So the chances of that happening
are very wild.
Small. And yes, that actor was just killed in Hawaii swimming with sharks. But I honestly think it's not when you talk about that being your biggest fear. I mean, when I see a seal in the water, I do get out.
Right, but
do I wear a brightly colored suit to not trick a shark into thinking I'm a seal? I'm done with a black bathing suit. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're not going to come after a hot pink chubby mom.
They're not going to come after a hot pink babe like
They're not
yourself.
going to come after a fruit suit.
No, not at all.
If you go into the sea and you're wearing
swim into the sea.
If you swim into the sea,
this is what our son does.
In the bath.
In the bath, and I don't know where he got it from. We didn't tell him to do it. He turns over with his little butt and he goes, swimming into the sea.
Very cute, but. If you're going into the ocean and you're wearing a full body black wetsuit, I'm you look like a seal.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Well, vacationing and, we typically do 1.5 a year, pretty much. We do 1 or 2.
I would say 1 vacation.
Yeah. But it is weird when you go to these Airbnbs now because you're day one, you're kind of settling. You're well, I guess we live in this house now.
It's so weird.
And then by day 2, you're I know where the bathroom is. I'm used to it.
I know where the bathroom is?
Yeah, I found where the bathroom. The first couple of days, you're that's the dishwasher.
The first couple of days, you're how do toilets work here?
Yeah, you're it's all backwards. But my beef is that the Airbnb thing, over the years, they've added more and more chores for us to do.
Right. Wait,
and at the end, it's...
I was going to say, before you get to that, my thing with the Airbnb thing is that it's this big, beautiful home, right? And part of this, I think, is because we live in the city, and so I'm not used to so much space. Really? You have 6 closets in these homes that are empty, and you're what do people do with these closets? It's bizarre. But now, since they cost so much money and they are so nice, I'm I should arrive here, and I understand there are services that exist that I could pay more for, and this would happen. But I'm I should arrive, and as part of the fee that I've already paid, the fridge should be stocked.
Yeah.
It
should be better than a hotel.
My beach stuff should be organized for me.
Yes.
There should be sunscreen. There should be every possible thing. There should be you guys are vegetarian, so
didn't
you
it
should
start
have
that
this.
way or no?
No.
I think it used to be hey, instead of staying in a hotel for $200 a night, stay here for $180 a night.
Right.
But there's no housekeeping. There's no whatever. But guess what? You can do that yourself, but you save some money and you get a whole house. And now it's instead of staying for $200 a night, it'll be $400 a night. And get this, there's no housekeeping and you got to wax the floors before you leave.
Right. And wash all our towels.
Stripping the beds really kills me. The stripping of the beds. And then now the hotel is going to rate you on how you did. I'm wait.
I got the email that was Susan rated you as guests, and I was and it was you have to rate the house in order to see
Give it a 0.
What she said about you, and I'm what is this, dating? I'm this is a dating game show now. I'm I don't care what Susan thought of me as a guest. I know that I was a respectful guest. What is she going to say? Oh, you left one bath towel not washed? I mean,
no. And depending on the personality type of the guest,
Right.
and there's certain people in your family that are like this, that checklist of what you have to do becomes the whole week, and you're like, the glass doesn't go in that one, plastic. And it's like, what happened to like you show up and someone does all your laundry and does your sheets and it's clean every night? I'm like,
I think that
I'm back in hotels, baby.
Well,
That's
I
what I'm
am
saying.
too, because certainly for the price point, it doesn't even matter. But I do think Airbnb was also set up to address basically people are in our exact situation, because once you have 1 or 2 kids,
Yeah.
getting 4 people into a hotel room is truly like not relaxing or pleasant.
No.
And so, like, because you have like the baby sleeping in the bathroom. So then even when we were in Vermont last summer, I'm pregnant. I'm going downstairs to the hotel lobby to pee, which I had to do all the time. Because Henry was asleep in our bathroom, and the front desk person was like laughing at me because but by that point I had no shame. So I'm fully going downstairs in, flip-flops and my full set of pajamas and being like, the baby's asleep in the bathroom, there's nothing I can do. And then they were like, oh, well, you could upgrade to like this, 2-bedroom suite. But that also doesn't solve the problem, because now you're paying seriously close to $1,000 a night for a hotel room that also is not like addressing all the issues.
Well, also it's like that meme, like, remember when we left the state and continued to be parents and acted like it was a vacation? Like, it's actually...
But that's what it is.
It's just harder than your normal life, and you paid for it. And you're
then like if you are bringing like a grandparent or an aunt or a cousin or whatever the other person is, you like want that person to have privacy, but you're like... but not like $1,000 a night worth of privacy. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, financially, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's really like the company holiday party. You realize, like, there are parts of this that are like a party, but most of it is basically for the kids. And I do give us credit. We did have nice little pockets of just the two of us time.
And the weather was incredible, which you can't plan for.
You played some excellent golf, and we actually beat your brother and our sister-in-law, Jonna Karen. Had some excellent shots. He was very pissed off. It was phenomenal.
That was fun because I rented, a lefty. So they gave me lefty clubs, but they didn't give me a putter. So John is lefty too. So in the first couple of holes, he was like, oh, Alyssa, take my putter. It's no problem. Then I started winning, and he was like, it was like, the putter, he's like, you're gonna have to pay for that. Like, it was he was like, I will beat you over the head with this putter before I let you borrow it. And then I had to use your righty putter, and I still dominated. Yeah, and you sunk a match sealing putt. And not to get into golf, but you're supposed to kind of putt with your shoulders like this. Don't tell me how to putt. But what you do is kind of like you bang, and then it looks like you're gonna smack it like 90 feet, and then somehow you like slow it down at the end. It's like ping, and it just rolls right in. Can I tell you something? And he was legitimately mad. It was fantastic. Yeah, he was really mad. Also, remember when he hit that big drive and he almost killed that bird? Yeah, it was incredible. I love that. The bird was literally circling him like a freaking vulture, and it was like, and you were like, he's not gonna like hit this bird, right? And then it was, you saw the bird flying towards the ball, and then like kind of freak out and be like, like. Also, you and I just like play golf. I mean, obviously you're much better than me, but like we play golf in a similar way, which is like stupid, and like alcohol trumps hitting the ball well. Well, I was trying to explain this to our friend John, who is an idiot. I don't know if he listens or not, but I think he does. So I hope he hears that. John Wolff? No, my friend John. John A. I was like, John Wolff does not listen to this podcast. No, I'm gonna put him in the Sam pool over there. Yeah. But if John Wolff listens to this and hears this and says, can redo my bird impression back to me, I will Venmo him $50. All right, I like that. Neither of my siblings support anything that I do. But I was trying to, and you know what? When our other friend Kenny started a pod, I go, here's the thing. Nobody you know is going to listen to it. And the ones who do are going to be like, ugh. So it's easier. It's like stand-up. It's way easier to do it in front of strangers. Yeah, I agree with that. But my friend John, he's like all anti-golf because of various things that happened to him in his childhood with his dad playing with his... It wasn't fun. I was there for some of them. It wasn't fun. But I try to explain to him, it's hanging out outside 1. Yes. It's drinking beers 2. It's driving a stupid little cart 3. It's smoking a cigar 4. And then 5...
is actually hitting the ball. It's the 5th in line.
I thought you were 5 was like dinner in the clubhouse, which I also enjoy.
5 is flirting with the cart girl when there is one. 6 is dinner in the clubhouse. 7 is golf.
If you replace the cart girl with caddy, then yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, caddying. You know, I told you about that. Like,
yeah. No, I don't like.
Very awkward. I don't like a caddy.
I don't either. I don't like
because they're below me. Don't talk to me.
I don't like anything like that.
Carry my clubs.
I don't like like. I just.
It's very awkward to have someone be like, "I'm gonna follow you around while you have fun." Just to make sure,
yeah.
and they give you golf advice whenever, and some are very cool to like actually hang out with, but it's the situation of it where it's like.
But this is, I mean,
I want to be like, why don't you play too? That's what like the instinct is the entire time.
But this is like, I just am
and
generally
it's rare that you get a caddy. It's rare
okay,
you
Noah,
get a caddy.
You're talking so much over me. It's crazy.
Sorry.
The point is, like, I don't like anything like that, which is like our building now has a doorman, but I never had a doorman in like 10 years of living in the city or 12 years of living in the city for the same thing. It's like, welcome home. I'm like, you're just sitting here all day waiting for me to come home. It's bizarro. I'm like, you need to like why can't we all just lock the door behind us? It's like not that big of a deal. And a lot of those like new buildings now, they have like the quote unquote virtual doorman, which is just like, it's locked. The building's locked. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't like, it's not that I want people like not to have a job, but I just find it to be very like uncomfortable. Like, stay here and fetch my mail. It's like, what? Like obviously I can do that myself. Obviously.
Yeah,
like,
and ours aren't even really doormen. They're like a security guard, but
that's what all these buildings did in the city now to like cut costs. And it's like, it's a shame in the sense that like there was sort of like this old school New York of doormen and Central Park West and like this is fancy and whatever. But like now it's kind of like this is someone who basically we're paying to like sit here and like stay awake.
Yeah, so no lunatic wanders in and is like knocking on our door.
But I'm like, but we could have also just locked the door, which like I'm pretty sure our building does at night anyway. Like you have to buzz in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like come home that late anymore, but like it's the same concept.
Want to do some quick headlines before we get out of here? The new segment?
Headlines?
Yeah, remember we said we were going to
Wait, there was something else that I wanted to talk to you about, and I told you to write it down, but you never really listened to me.
I did write it down, and number one, I'm very sorry for talking over you, and I'd have 2 more topics. Do you think it's sick when people kiss without their arms? Is what you had told me to write down.
Okay, so I saw this couple outside my office, arms glued to their sides, smooching in a way that's just like neck only. Does that turn you on?
I didn't respond to this because I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never even seen that.
Are you a couple of birds? Why don't you have arms?
Wait, they lean in and making out or just like a pet goodbye?
Making out. First of all, a pet goodbye would be like, I guess, okay, but even wouldn't you still just like, I don't mean like you have to like hug them fully, but like, why are your arms glued to your side? Weird.
I like one of these, I actually grabbed your butt the first time I kissed you.
But I'm saying like, what sort of like ostrich kiss is just like head only?
I don't know. I've never even seen it before.
Okay,
obviously, it's very weird. It's very weird.
Keep an eye out.
Did you see Jason Tatum's response? This is related. Did you see Jason Tatum's response to winning the championship?
How he was just like a robot about it?
They went through.
I think Jason Tatum is AI. Yeah. How about that conspiracy theory?
I like it. He's very robotic out there.
He's looking like AI.
They did a comparison of all his like appearances after winning, and it was like really trying hard to have a viral moment, and then it was like also kind of plagiarism.
Well, he I think has been media trained within like an inch of his life, and I think a lot of these guys who are not naturally comfortable in front of the camera, which why would they be? They're basketball players. Mm-hmm. Like are now sort of like they're basically like put in class, right? And they're like taught to do a certain thing, and they're taught to like repeat something that someone else said because it's safe. Like they just like don't want to. But like, I thought the response really did underscore the fact that I do think he is like a chatbot.
Yeah, but there's too many cameras their whole life, and then something actually happens. It was so weird to watch. He was like, "Ha, we did it," and then he goes, "What they gonna say now?" Which is what Steph Curry said a couple years ago, and it was like, ugh. It took like that. That finals was also already not fun, but then that reaction was so weird. We were like,
I agree, the finals were not fun, and also I feel like neither team really like wanted to be there. It was like really weird. Like I was like, are you guys even enjoying this anymore? And I'm like, I wonder if the basketball season has just like, because obviously they stretched it out like endlessly.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I don't know, some of these guys like are running out of steam because every single game is like, oh, like pressure's on, like you got to do this, you got to do something crazy or funny or like whatever. And it's like, no, they're not like really like that. They're not.
Because the content, there's too much content and there's too many questions. I don't think they're exhausted by playing basketball. I think it's like...
No, I'm saying the other stuff is exhausting.
Pre-game leading up, oh, did you hear what Stephen A. said about Kyrie said about... And then you're like... And then the way people consume the NBA now is pretty much only through Instagram and TikTok of the games. So then what it seemed like to me was Jason Tatum was like, what can I say that'll become like a like
meme.
my finals meme or my finals moment? We got to get... Here's my solution. Less access to the players. Get rid of the in-game interviews. They're always brutal.
But also, well, the in-game interviews are terrible. But I also feel like there are the really, really good players have been media trained because they are single-handedly like driving the success of the franchise, right? So the coaches and managers and owners and whatever are like, hey, you're the face of this team, or you're one of like the 3 guys on this team that we're going to like promote. Mm-hmm. So then they teach them how to be like PR savvy, right? Mm-hmm. But what's lost from the game is like, you don't have like a quote unquote outrageous character anymore. Even if we see some guy get pissed.
There's only one.
Even if you see someone get pissed on the court, it's literally swept away so quickly because that's not...
Well, there's 2, right?
There's not like culturally acceptable anymore.
There's Draymond Green, who is legitimately nuts.
Right.
And then there's Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, who actually says what he thinks because he's already like, I got $200 million. And by all accounts, he's just a guy who just wants to play basketball. And he shows up in a tank top. And then when, his teammate Karl Anthony Towns is being all meaty, he's like, shut up. He's the best.
It's like...
That's hard to do, though. I'm punching my mic.
There's so few candid moments because
there's too many moments overall, right?
And because they've just been like, I have to imagine that part of their media training is like a lot of hypotheticals. So like, if they ask this type of question, you do this. If there's a fight on the court, you do this. If you like, they are also protective of not just the NBA brand, but like of their personal brands, because no one. And rightfully so. No one wants to lose an endorsement deal because they got caught saying something nuts on a hot mic. Yeah. Like, they just don't.
Or an actual contract. Talk to Boogie Cousins, who just won MVP in Taiwan. John Wall's out of the league. And now the contract's like, you're the 5th best player. You're OG Anunoby. $212 million.
Crazy.
So our agents are going, just say, we played hard, we played defense. But the problem is it's oversaturated with these other moments. Let's pull it back a little bit. I thought this finals was boring as hell, and I hated Tatum's reaction. We got one more headline we were going to talk about.
What was it?
It's the guy in California who went for a 3-hour hike and then was gone for 10 days.
Oh, yeah. I just was like,
what an idiot.
First of all, that is like really scary.
Yeah.
Also, obviously I don't like hike anywhere, but my version of that is if I was like, oh, I'm going to go to Bloomingdale's. And then you were like, I haven't seen her in a week and a half. And then I just like emerged from Bloomie's like, I don't know what happened. Like my hair's all straggly. Like I have like 70 shopping bags. And you're like, did you eat anything? I'm like, I'm just surviving off their like frozen yogurt.
Well, he drank apparently a boot. He used his boot to drink stream water. And was like, I'm just going to drink a gallon of water a day. But dude, first of all, we're united that we don't hike, we don't camp. Okay.
No.
But if we did hike, I have to believe I could find my way out of the woods that I walked into. Well, don't you think you can find your way out of the fucking woods that you walked into?
First of all, as you know,
west, boom.
As you know, I have a great sense of direction. So I would not, once I saw where the sun was setting, I mean, yes, like, you know, general directions, like, okay, so the sun went down over there. If I came in from, you know, the East Highway, just walk away from the sun, right? Like, I don't like, it's not that hard to do. I'm sure that like he was all turned around and there is some sort of wisdom in like just stay where you are because then people could find you.
Well, people heard him yelling help.
Right.
But they were like, we don't know where that's coming from. Stupid California idiots.
But I just
also,
feel like,
I like hearing this. We heard someone yell help, but we couldn't figure it out. And fucking,
well, that's, I mean, in California.
Game of Thrones is on. We got to get back to House of Dragons.
In California, they'll come help you. In New York, if you're like, you know this, like if you yell help, help, like they're not coming. People don't come. And it's like, that's crazy. But like, I don't know. I just feel like it's also, New York is a place of self-preservation. So if like you yell someone help, they're like, whatever is after them could come after me. So I got to get out of here.
Well, New York is a hellscape in that like people not from here. I know we got to wrap there, but people not from here are like, how do you just like walk by this guy on the street who's like laying face down, and you're like, I don't know.
You're like, I can't.
You're trained. I can't take it all on.
I don't know. Can't
do it.
And then like, yeah, I feel like that's, I don't know, like there is like a weird line in New York that you walk every day where you go, how can I help? Like, at what point is me helping actually making it worse? What even is helping in this situation? And then you fall down this like existential crisis of like that they are human beings, and yes, they are in trouble, but maybe they're not in immediate trouble. It's like very dark.
Well, as Norm Macdonald said, the problem with giving a homeless person a sandwich is that it's not crack. So sometimes you do try to help them, they're like,
well, you know, I used to do that joke on stage, which I really don't like, you know, do
Sacred?
anymore. No, well, that's another one. But
you're like, no, my other homeless chunk there.
Yeah, another homeless chunk that I was like, because when I moved to the city, people were like, don't give money to homeless people. Like, they're just going to use it for drugs or alcohol. And I was like, good.
Yeah.
You're going to be like riding the subway all day, at least be drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Like what?
Similar to a Greg Giraldo joke that I love where he goes, that's what I'm going to use it for.
Right. Exactly. Like, I'm not judging you for what you're going to use it for. Like, if I have decided that I'm going to give you money because I have it in my pocket, then I've already made peace with that. I'm not here to like, I'm not like freaking your financial advisor. I'm just giving you some cash. Like,
Agreed.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think like acting as if it's very like, you know, wanting to reward yourself for doing the quote unquote good thing. It's like if I give someone $10 on the street and being like, and he's going to use it to get a room tonight. And you're like, why do you care what he uses it for?
Yeah.
He could just buy a Frosty. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't know.
Related to handing people money.
Yeah. You owe me a lot of money.
I do. And I had this idea about tipping.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
do you tip?
I never do. No,
I'm just kidding.
A lot of people are bitching now that it's like the iPad and then do you need to tip? And the guy's like, it's like, that's not a tipping situation. But what I never understand as a good tipper, like yesterday I got you flowers for your birthday.
Thank you. They're beautiful.
I tipped the guy who made the beautiful bouquet for me at the florist on our corner, who is wonderful.
Love him. Yep.
And I was going to give him a 5, but I realized I went to the ATM that only had 10. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a 10. The guy reacted like I had given him $2,000. He goes, made my day. He was so happy.
That's cute.
And then in drinking situations, what I never get is people being stingy with the tip is you give a tip right away, especially weddings. You know this move. Boom, big cash tip, make a big show of it. Look at me. The service you get, like I've been at weddings where people are like, what did you do? Guys coming around the bar, handing me my special drink, or like when you go to these pharma meetings, people go to these meetings where all the drinks are free and they don't tip to the guy.
Well,
makes no sense to me.
You just brought up exactly what I was going to say, which is when people go to an event like a happy hour or a wedding or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's open bar. I go, yes, but you can still tip. There's no like rule against tipping the bartender or the waiter who's bringing you the drink. And you know that this person is like making minimum wage, whatever. So why not? Like, your whole night is free. So why not give the $20 you would have spent at Chipotle to this guy?
Yeah. And just from a selfish perspective, the net return on the $10 or $20 tip is so enormous,
right?
Where people go, what do you own this place? Like, and it's like, you're not giving them 100. I know we got to bring this in for landing, but one more service idea. So I had this catering order that I did for work. And I tried to cancel it within the window because the people I was bringing it to were like, we cannot eat that. We hate that. We hate you. We hate ourselves. And So I do it, and it's like it didn't cancel. The restaurant's still making it. I'm like, I can't have $500 worth of chicken sandwiches showing up to this office. I'm going to get screwed. So I call up Easy Cater, and they go, sir, you're not within the window. We have to charge you a fee of $150. And then I go, what? It's ridiculous. And then the woman goes, we can waive the fee for you. And I'm like,
Wait.
that quickly? I didn't even have to do it. So these people are people are bitching about Karens. People are creating Karens.
Right, of
They're
course.
encouraging Karen behavior.
Well, so one quick story, and then I really will wrap up.
Yeah.
She said permanently forever. So coming home from Nantucket, I was flying by myself with the 2 kids. And all morning, I was
this was crazy.
I was trying to check into the flight online, which I still don't even understand what the point of that is, because then you have to still get your ticket and go through. I'm like,
it's never made sense.
It's nothing. Checking in on the flight, they literally are like, do you remember you have a flight today? It doesn't make any sense. Okay?
I'm definitely coming is when you bought the ticket.
I made the reservation.
Yeah, I'm planning on coming is the ticket.
Right. So I get to the airport, which is like the size of the studio, and I go up to the front desk. I'm now running because I'm like, how am I going to do this with the 2 kids and like whatever? So, and I get to the kiosk. The kiosk won't let me check in. I'm like, what is going on here? I even went back to my email to be like, I did make this reservation, which of course I did, because you would obviously buy a round trip flight. So I go up to the desk, and the woman at JetBlue is like, I'm like, it won't let me check in online or on the kiosk. It's 1:16, okay, in the afternoon. She goes, it's too late to check in. I go, so what time did check-in close? She goes, 1:15. I go, I was like, I really had to do like a deep breath to like not absolutely, because as soon as she said it, she realized like how effing stupid. And I'm sure on her screen, when she typed in my reservation, they were like, check-in time is closed.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't like trying to be a jerk, but I was like, that was 1 minute ago. I was like, so whatever. So she actually like gets her act together. She can't find the baby's like reservation, which is also dumb because I have it in my email. Like, I don't understand how like with computers, any of this stuff could get messed up.
Yeah.
So I have the baby in the car seat. I have a rolly bag. I have the diaper bag, backpack, and then I have my just regular bag, like my purse. Going through security. I've got the baby's formula. I've got all sorts of stuff. They're like going through everything in a way that I'm like, what sort of drugs do you think I'm smuggling back from Massachusetts to New York?
They're like, white powder? You're like, that's formula.
But
you
actually,
dumb bitch.
it's in. Last time I made the mistake of putting the formula in a smaller container, and they were like, this is suspicious, we're throwing it out.
Yep.
This time I kept it in the container. They're like, we have to go through all of it. I was like, what are you talking about? Okay, so then now I have to take the baby out of the car seat to go through security. I have TSA pre-check. Henry's just like standing there, like, you know, touching other people's stuff. And I walk through the thing with holding the baby, nothing buzzes. Henry walks through. He makes me go through again because he's like, oh, we have to do it twice if you're holding a baby. I'm like, that's not anything. I get flagged for a random search.
Yep.
Okay. At this point, 2 different TSA people, because they're just like sexist nightmares, ask me if I'm traveling with another adult. Because they're going to put me in another room to do this security check. I was like, if you want to do the security check, you have to do it here. I was like, where are my kids going to go? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So then I get to the flight. The people in Nantucket are amazing. They won't let me take the car seat on the plane. So I take the baby out of the car seat. I'm holding her. Henry's holding my hand. And these, 2 or 3 TSA folks like really help me out. They put the bag, overhead. They hand me the diaper bag. What do you need for this flight? Whatever. I have like Henry's little books and stuff. Fine. The flight attendants on the flight watch this happen. They watch me get helped by 2 different individuals who were terrific, and like it wasn't that big of a deal. It's just one bag to put up, and they have to check the car seat. Okay. Yeah. I asked to keep the car seat because then I wouldn't have to hold the baby the whole time. It's actually safer for the baby to be in a car seat, and they told me the flight's totally booked. There's obviously empty seats everywhere, right?
Yep.
So we get to White Plains Airport. The kids are perfect the whole time, but they don't sleep. Everyone's like kind of strung out. Henry's had 14,000 cookies. And because I'm like, well, what else can we do at this point?
Yep.
they make that little announcement, which everyone who's been on a plane has heard. If you need help getting off the plane, stay in your seat, right? Mm-hmm. Don't try to get up and do, right? Like if you're in a wheelchair or whatever.
Yep.
So I sit there like a freaking idiot with these two kids. I truly, like, I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm like totally strung out. The woman at the first airport stressed me out. So I'm like, okay, we're here. We're safe, whatever. Samantha's picking me up at the airport. So the guys start coming through and like cleaning the plane.
Yeah. You're like, where's my help?
And I'm like, I need help. Mm-hmm. And they're like, to do what? I go, to get off this plane. Like, you guys told me to stay here, and then no one came to get me. So then I start doing this crazy thing where I'm holding this large baby, holding the hand of a 3-year-old who's like past the point, fully screaming in my face. And now I have to pick up the car seat and then do multiple trips up like the what's that? Like up the bridge, like from the plane.
Jetway.
The jetway. Then security grabs me and goes, you can't go back down the jetway once you come up the jetway.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm holding 2 children and a bag. I go,
you're like, you do it.
I said
That's what you said you were going to do.
I literally said that to this guy. I was like, so then you need to do it. And he was like, so he, all bent out of shape, goes down. It's literally like, what, 30 feet. Gets my other bag. Comes walking up with me. Leaves it at the gate. I'm like, we're still a mile away from where my sister is waiting to help me with the children. I then start making, journeys through the airport, holding these 2 children like footballs, while people who are just sitting, waiting for their flight, including employees of the airport,
but also
watch
just
me.
normal people.
Yes.
Stand up off your ass.
Yes.
That's the biggest myth that people think when you have a baby, people are going to help you. Nobody helps you.
I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Then I get to the security door. There's this girl working there. She's like, 22. I'm like, so if I go out those security doors, I can't come back in, right? Because you see how much stuff, and I need to make multiple trips, and I can't send a 3-year-old through security by himself.
Right.
Like, that's insane.
Should have done it. Like, figure it out.
I mean, it was really crowded. I couldn't just whatever. And she was like, I go, can my sister just come in 6 feet so that she can just hold his hand, take him right back out? She's like, no. Then she's like, is your sister wearing a purple dress? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, do you think my sister called me to be like, I'll be the one in the purple dress? I go, I'll recognize her. She looks exactly like me, but pregnant.
Yeah,
like,
it's nuts. Nobody helps you with babies.
I mean, when I got flagged for extra security check, I was like, you've got to be, they're telling me I'm going to miss the plane, but they're like, but then I kind of thought about it. I was like, well, I did kind of look unhinged, so I was like, I guess that's a red flag.
It's a good way to smuggle cocaine as baby formula.
I mean,
we've all done it. Okay.
Can I tell you something? I wouldn't do it because they literally searched every single to send the car seat in separately. I was like, okay, I must look really suspicious.
Yeah.
Anyway, I highly do not recommend, and
don't go anywhere with kids.
Yeah, turns out it's not worth it.
All right, do you have any plugs?
I have a show.
Oh, you got some big shows coming up, show lady.
Tomorrow night, and then I have a show. I have Mike's show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, July
12th.
I'm going to try to go to that, too.
You should.
It's fun. Fun show. Long Island City.
I'll send you a discount code.
Barbershop. You son of a bitch. All right. All right. Love you. Sorry that I talked over you. I apologize publicly and privately for that.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. Fruit Suits for the win. Bye.